Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to give my first impressions of Legends of Runeterra. And if you don't know what it is the recently announced card game by Riot Games, and it's a League of Legends card game. And so it's kind of in this 5-day beta period. There'll be a 5-day beta period next month, and then it'll be in closed beta, in early 2020. And wow, it has reinvigorated my love of card games, because I kind of, was super into digital card games, and I've kind of transitioned to playing some auto chess. But once this comes out for good, I think I'm going to be hooked, because it does so many things that I didn't think of before. It does so many unique things, and it's really interesting that there are still digital card games coming out that are able to, add so much to the space. So it kind of takes a lot of inspiration from Artifact, Hearthstone, and Magic, and the complexity is kind of in between Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. And so how it works is you have three main different types of cards. You got champions, you got your follower, creature cards, and then you got spells. And how the gameplay works is it's kind of split up into rounds. So one round, someone's attacking and the other person is defending, and you keep taking turns playing a card. And there's no summoning sickness or anything, so if you're attacking and you play a card, you could attack with them. And so you declare all your attackers, and whoever's defending gets to assign blockers, one per thing, and then everything attacks what's in front of them. And if you're attacking and they didn't block one of your creatures, it deals its damage to the enemy nexus, and you have 20 health on the nexus. But the thing is this card game does so many things that are so unique that it's really refreshing to play. And there's some core design features in the game that truly make me super optimistic for the future of the game. And the biggest thing is the champions. So the champions are kind of how you decide what colors of cards, or they're called regions. So there's like 6 different regions in the game, and they all have their own champions and spells and followers. And you can only have cards that follows the faction or the region of your champions. And the champions are super unique, so they all can level up in their own way. So in the gameplay you're watching, I made a Teemo Ashe deck, and what Teemo does is he is revolved around putting these poison mushrooms in the enemy deck. So if he hits the nexus, he plants 5 poison mushrooms in their deck, and what the poison mushrooms do is they kind of assign themselves to a random card in their deck, and when they draw a card that has mushrooms on it, they take that much damage. So say there's 10 mushrooms on one card, you plant a lot of mushrooms, when they draw that card, they're going to take 10 damage. And so he levels up once you put 15 mushrooms in their deck. And when he levels up, he, gains a +1/+1 because he's not a very strong creature. But every time he hits the nexus after that, he doubles the amount of mushrooms in their deck. So that's kind of the champion. And then there's all of these followers that have support for that. There's some that give you spells that just throw 5 mushrooms in their deck. There's a card that's like a 3/3 that every time you cast a spell, it puts 3, mushrooms in their deck. And that was kind of the Teemo aspect of it. And then I had Ashe, which is kind of about, freezing these creatures. So I had a lot of cards that, helped freeze things faster, or it insta-killed things if it attacked something that was frozen. And so there's a lot of support. So the game is kind of surrounded around complementing your champions with their followers, and it's really interesting and unique because it's not just like, it feels like what Artifact really should have been, because it feels like it's focused around these champions. And with a game like League of Legends where you have so many iconic champions, it's amazing. And this is just the base set, and there already is like alternate win conditions, and every champion just kind of adds so much awesomeness to what kind of, decks there are. And so with decks, people are kind of calling them based off of what champion. So I would say this is a Teemo Ashe deck, at least that's, in the first couple days of the beta. But because of the way that the core gameplay is so focused around these champions, and they're making these champions so unique, it feels fantastic, because this is the base game, and it already feels like there's a billion different archetypes because of the champions. And that is really refreshing. Another thing that this card game does that's really cool is the mana system kind of works like Magic. Each round, both players get 1 additional mana than they did the turn before, but any unused mana that you have goes into what's called spell mana. And so if you look at the right, kind of below my mana, there's 3 little dots, and if you have any unspent mana, they fill up your spell mana, and you can use that mana at any time like it progresses through the rounds, but it's only for spells. So it's not like you can save it and ramp up a big creature. it's only going to be for spells, so it's not like, you know, super snowball or anything like that. And that's really, really cool because in this game, both players are playing on, you know, each other's turns. It's not like I have a turn and you have a turn. So in Magic, there's kind of a problem where it just feels bad if you have, like, say, a burn spell that you want to use on, you know, the enemy's turn or something. You have to kind of not play cards on your turn. You have to conserve mana because you're going to want mana on their turn, but this solves it because you both are taking turns each round and it's kind of round based, and it feels really good. The games are a lot faster because there's no summoning sickness, and it's also faster because how the spells work is there's 3 different types of spells. So you have your slow spells, which you can only play when you could play a creature, so they're kind of like sorceries in Magic the Gathering. Then you have fast spells, which you can play at any time, but it gives the opponent time to respond, so, you know, it kind of goes on the stack. And then you have burst spells, which you can play at any time, and they don't even get an opportunity to respond. And so a lot of the card draw spells, a lot of the spells that in Magic the Gathering and like Magic Arena would slow the game down so much because you have to keep giving the opponent opportunities to respond, a lot of the spells that they really don't need to respond to are burst spells, and it keeps the game so fast. And the visuals at this point are really awesome. The artwork, I love how anytime you play a card, you know, it's kind of in its frame, but when you bring it out to attack, it has this extended art border, and it's really, really awesome. Another thing that's amazing about this card game is the animations. Every time the cards level up, they are the champions anyways, every one of them has this awesome unique kind of, you know, animation. Some of them are full screen animations that I thought would get annoying after a while, but honestly aren't, and they just make it super satisfying. A lot of the cards have animations. I know Riot Games is working with like a whole nother studio just to help with the animations, but overall it feels like a game that can compete with Hearthstone, because, you know, before we saw all these other card games made by, you know, indie devs, and even if they were better card games at their value or they were more fair than Hearthstone, they didn't look as good, they didn't feel as good, they didn't sound as good or anything like that. And this is something that can not only compete with Hearthstone in the gameplay, but also in how it looks. And on top of all of that, the payment model for this game is probably going to be so much better. So they got away with card packs. You want to buy cards? There's no card packs. You buy wild cards, and you use those wild cards to just buy whatever card you want. So there is kind of a little iffiness in how they're doing it. You have to restock, so you can't just buy as many as you want at one time, so it can almost make it feel like a subscription service almost. But overall, the bottom line is, at the very beginning, say you spend $10. If you spent like $10 in Hearthstone, you don't know what you're going to get. Most likely you're going to get bad cards that you have to, you know, disenchant for 1/4 of the value, and it takes so much longer to get a top tier deck. But it seems like with this, because you can just buy the wild cards, you can just buy the key pieces you need for a specific deck, and it truly will feel like spending more money just gives you access to more decks rather than a better deck. So, you know, obviously it will be free to play. You'll be able to earn the cards as well. But overall, this is one of the most promising card games, and I've just been, I made this one deck, this Ash Teemo deck, and I've just been playing it so much. I've probably played about 10-15 hours in this beta so far, and it is fantastic. So I would highly recommend you guys to stay tuned for it. And obviously this is just the first beta they did. I'll be making more videos on it, especially, you know, once it comes out, give it an actual review and stuff. But if you guys have tried the beta, or if you guys have been watching it, you know, let me know in the comments down below what your guys' impressions of it were. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more Time to Grind content. And if you guys are having a great day today, I hope you continue having a great day. If you guys aren't having a great day, I hope you guys start having a great day. But either way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys next time.